None of us really know. None of us really know.
I know.
No, I know. Perfect timing, Keith.
Keith, what's up?
Your favorite movie of all time. Step 9.
Oh, good.
How is there any other choice than Remember the Titans being number one?
I'm curious.
I'm spoiling mine, but
Well, let's see. Here we go. Yeah, that's a good, good
I'm
question,
not even
Brian.
done talking.
you shouldn't be talking at this point.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Apocaflix Now, our main show here at Apocaflix Movies. It is Tuesday, and that means we have a new episode of Apocaflix Now. I'm your host tonight, Jacob Bartley, and we have a 4-man crew today. Will it be a 5-man crew? Honestly, I don't know, but I will find out eventually because I do want to hear Keith's thoughts on Andor, the full season, which we will be talking a little bit later here. But I'm going to go ahead and introduce the rest of the crew here. Most of you know their names. I'll go ahead and start here with Gio Ramos. Gio, how you doing, man?
I'm pretty good. Happy holidays, everyone out there. I hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Whether you watched football or stuffed your face with turkey and stuffing and all that kind of stuff, or even just being around family. I'm doing good. It's been a busy evening, grinding out these videos, trying to get used to this Discord thing. I mean, I see all these hashtags and topics right here, and I'm like, are these different chats? What's going on here? I'm going to learn it and catch up. So, yeah, just a lot of exciting stuff.
That's a great thing you brought up, Gio. You reminded me. We have a Discord now. Thanks to Mr. Jake Berlin started our Discord just today. You can see it right there on screen. If you're listening on audio, come watch the video and find it. Find the link. But it's the Apocaflix Movies Discord. I've only been in there for like half a day, and I'm loving it already. It's so much fun. Like the subcategories and everything. It's so cool. Speaking of Jake, he's right here with us. How you doing, man? How was your holiday break?
Very busy. I was in San Diego, and it was nonstop go, go, go. There were 17 of us for Thanksgiving. We were there not just for Thanksgiving, but also to celebrate my grandmother's 75th birthday, which is today. Grandma Susan, if you're watching this, she watches. Happy birthday, Grandma.
Happy birthday.
She watches every single week, so happy birthday, Graham. We celebrated the big 7-5 for her, and we had a big, giant themed Elvis party, which was wild.
What? That's
yeah,
cool.
I'll bring up a picture, but it was pretty insane. But yeah, no, I mean it was a long weekend, but it was a very good weekend. I got to play a very incredible and very insanely hard golf course.
Why are you playing golf on Grandma's birthday weekend?
Because it's not all about her, Brian.
Everything's about Grandma Susan. She gets whatever she wants.
No, so I got to play a little golf. We ate some good food. Obviously, watched football. Yeah, I mean, work's stressing me out a little bit. Life is stressing me out a little bit, but it's kind of the normal thing. Yeah, and then as far as the Discord goes, welcome Gio and Jacob to the Discord life. Brian, make sure you join the Apocaflix Discord, please.
I was in it at some point. Like you,
I don't remember you ever being in it.
Because me and Shaw made one, and
maybe, but I started the Apocaflix one today.
Okay, so then there's probably 2 Apocaflix ones.
If you paid attention to my message earlier today, I started it today.
Look, I still have it. This is the old one.
Oh yeah, look at the logo. Yeah,
there we go. Oh, the little reel with the A. Oh, that was a good logo. That's when,
a throwback.
When Jake was still learning, but it still looks good.
Oh no, I mean we don't give credit to someone who doesn't believe that the moon landing isn't real.
It depends on what day it is.
If you guys didn't hear, Brian does not believe that we landed on the moon.
It depends on what day it is.
He thinks it was staged?
He thinks it's a total hoax.
Sometimes.
Wait, don't you watch For All Mankind?
Yeah.
Not that it's accurate.
Exactly.
100%
For All
accurate.
Mankind. They're on the moon. Why aren't we on the moon?
Yeah. I actually
what about
haven't continued that series.
What's that Ryan Gosling movie with
First Man.
Babylon, yeah.
Well, obviously we're talking about fictional stories about a possible, fictional landing, but no, It's real. Of course, it's real.
Hey,
Yeah, we
there could
talked
be-
conspiracy theories last night.
I mean,
I'm
hey.
just jealous that Jake's grandma watches because I wish my grandma watched our show. That would be pretty cool.
Well,
but
she is the coolest grandma, Grandma Susan.
definitely.
Facts.
Is this the one who makes the handmade?
Yeah, she made
shield?
those. Yeah, she made
Ah.
both those. Yeah.
Definitely the coolest grandma.
Yeah.
Brian,
Jealous.
how you doing, man? How was your Thanksgiving weekend? Or
Good. Didn't really do too much. Lazed around. Now I'm acting like a grandma in my sweatpants with my portable heater blasting on me with a blanket on my lap. So I'm living my inner grandma.
You that
I
cold,
know how
huh?
you feel, man.
Yeah, I'm not used to it.
You are colder than Sanka when he got off the plane in Cool Runnings in the airport.
I've never seen Cool Runnings.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Well, that's what
I mean, it's good that we know
challenge is
this.
for.
You know, it's good that we know this now. Add it to your list. My God,
We need to, you know what? I should pull a veto and we should re-challenge Brian
No.
to watch
Every
Cool
time.
Runnings.
Every other week is a lot.
I know.
I got you.
God.
Brian. That's a lot.
Oh
That's a
my!
lot.
Now I'm questioning if you've seen John Candy movies. That's what I'm questioning.
Not really.
Oh my God!
Name 3.
Uncle Buck.
planes, trains, and automobiles.
It's funny, I watched like 20 minutes of Uncle Buck last weekend because my mom put it on. Planes,
my
Trains, and
God.
Automobiles, no.
He was in the first Home Alone movie for like 5 minutes. So
I
did
mean,
you
I
watch
guess
Home
that's-
Alone?
Gio, can you name what he is the king of?
In what? Oh, in Home Alone?
Home Alone.
Oh God. I know they wear the damn jackets. Oh God. I think it starts with an S. Or
No,
or
Polka.
C. Hoka. There you go. Thank you. I was thinking something else.
Hey, Brian's seen like 3 Arnold movies. Come on, we gotta
Polka.
get him to watch some
There you
Arnold
go.
movies
Yeah.
first. You know,
Polka
closer
King
to-
of the Midwest,
Polka.
or maybe a certain,
Yeah,
certain
wow, where the
state.
hell did I
closer to
get
his
this from?
era.
Wait, so Brian, have you never seen? So you've never seen Great Outdoors? You've never seen? Have you seen Spaceballs?
Yes.
Okay, thank
there
God.
you go.
He plays Barf. Thank
Yeah.
God. All right, we're gonna have to challenge Brian to some John Candy movies because that
Hey,
is
I mean,
classic movies.
We have been like the last 6 weeks or so. It's been Brian every other time. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
And that's
where
that's
we're
never
going, okay?
changing, by the way. That's
I
We
know.
never
gotta get
changing.
that going.
No.
That is
It's funny,
never
like-
changing. We are literally doing it every other week. 100%.
You know, we joked about it for a while, and it actually started happening.
Yes.
Like,
it'll never change, Brian. It's
actually
every
just,
other
like-
week. Just prepare yourself.
Uh,
Prepare yourself.
at least we're adding some more movies there and all that. I had a good holiday break as well. It's always
We didn't ask Jacob.
honestly.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing.
Stop.
I'm asking myself.
I only say that because
so-
I feel the position. Nobody ever asks how I'm doing.
Hey
well.
Jacob,
I
how was
know.
your Thanksgiving break, buddy?
I noticed that, and that's why I try to ask you sometimes before you transition, Jake. But you never get a chance. But I think, look, Halloween is my favorite holiday. It always will be. But I think Thanksgiving is my second favorite holiday.
Oh my God.
I know Brian
He's
doesn't like
favorite.
Thanksgiving, but look, this is
Brian's a
American
schmuck.
Thanksgiving. Obviously, maybe not all viewers are from our country, but I like Thanksgiving because you get the family, you get the food, but you don't have to buy anyone gifts, and so that's the.
I mean, you're not wrong. You are
That's
not
the-
wrong.
a
And you
good
get the
part
football,
about. Yes, well, you get football on Christmas too. Yeah, if you
but
like
not
that.
as much. I don't know. It's just
Yeah, it's
it
not
hits
the same.
different on Thanksgiving.
Wait,
Um,
is there football on Christmas
Oh
Day?
well,
There is.
okay,
No, I think
so
it's
there is.
basketball.
it's
There's
around
basketball.
Christmas, but remember, was it last year or the year before there was games on Christmas? I remember.
Well, because it was on a Sunday.
Because Alvin Kamara had like 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, because it was
Um,
on a Sunday though.
And
They
may
don't
have
put
beat Jake in
games
the
on
playoffs
Christmas,
that
right?
day. But well, only if it's on a Sunday, right? I think it was
Yeah.
Monday.
Yeah.
I think it was the Monday
Okay,
night game.
so a Monday night game. That makes sense.
Yeah, only if it falls on those days. But yeah, normally they
The
don't.
first
They don't
round
like.
fantasy.
Come on, you're the sports guy here. Let's
Welcome
go.
to
No,
first
you're
round
right.
fantasy.
You're right. It's not always on. Yeah, it's not. It's usually basketball for sure.
hey Jacob, quick plug. Didn't we watch a movie over Thanksgiving break
Absolutely.
And
Yeah,
the
we
video's
did.
up on the channel?
Yeah, we watched Glass
I'm
Onion.
so jealous. I'm
The
so
Knives
jealous.
Out mystery.
Yes.
You know what's funny? I told Gio this. I thought it was in theaters for a week and then comes out on Netflix right away. That's
No.
not.
No, it doesn't come out till
Another
Christmas
month.
week.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
it comes out Christmas week.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Is it
So you
still
got
in
2 more
theaters?
days to watch Glass.
The last
Onion if you
the
want.
last day is today. It's the last chance.
Ah.
Oh, today's the last day.
10 p.m. showing, Jake.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, let's make that happen.
Whatever.
Hey, we've done
you
it before, right? We've done it
Yeah.
before.
Our lives were vastly different, my
I
guy.
know. I know. We were kids. We were kids back then. Just randomly go to a
Well, I mean,
9
I
p.m.
was a
showing.
kid. You guys were still older, you know.
Oh my. Oh yeah. We're so much older.
I wasn't around for that. So,
So much older.
Yes, you were,
Yeah.
Brian.
So we were talking about the movie watching challenge, and let's get into it.
Bum-bum.
So
I love
for those of you,
I love the let's get into it. Let me delay this a little longer so I can find the button.
Absolutely. That's how I do it. Don't you remember? I used to always do that. Yeah, for those of you who don't know how this works, every week one of us gets challenged to a new movie that we have not seen. Lately it's been Brian, frequently every other week. So he's been watching 2 new movies a month at least, and we love it. We love it here.
It's a great routine. I love that.
And this past week, Brian was challenged to a movie that we've been trying to get him to watch for so long, and that is Nightcrawler, the Jake Gyllenhaal starring Nightcrawler. Did we figure out if it was Dan or his brother? Dan
It's
Gilroy?
Dan Gilroy because I slipped.
Yeah,
up
no,
during
it's
the
not Tony
beginning of
Gilroy.
the
It's
video.
Dan Gilroy. Yeah.
it's
Were you guys
Dan
confused
Gilroy.
about that last week?
Well, yeah,
Well,
Tony
we were
Gilroy
talking
produced
Shut
about
up,
it.
Jake.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dan Gilroy directed it. Yeah.
Yeah, and we were talking about Andor, and then we were like, oh, but at least Dan wrote a few episodes of Andor, so it kind of still applies. We were talking about how he brings out intensity, and I'm hoping he brought some intensity to Nightcrawler, according to Brian. Brian will have a full review up of that tomorrow, and we're going to start doing, as long as we can, we're going to start doing the Challenger and the Challengee in the review video, so keep an eye out for that. So you have Brian and Gio on that video. But Brian, can you just give us a 1-sentence like summary on your opinion on the film?
Meh.
Quick thoughts.
Are you
Really?
fucking kidding me?
No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
Okay, I was gonna say.
I was about to
stop
lose my
lying.
shit. I'm not joking you. I was about to lose it.
No, Jake definitely would over this.
It was all right. It was all right. I mean,
Fuck you.
no, I'm kidding. This movie was bought, but I like this movie a lot.
Brian liked the movie, guys.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
a win.
That's
Yeah.
good because I think we had a few. Look, he didn't like Predator. He didn't like the Last Action Hero. So Nightcrawler, though.
Like I
That's good
said,
to
Brian can't watch anything before 1990. It's just not possible.
You want to know what's funny though, and I said this in our
Makes
review, is it does. I've learned from being challenged every other freaking week the type of movie that I typically don't like, and it's where the movie feels like it's like already been going for like 20 minutes. Like, you know how like it kind of feels like it just jumps in, like how this started. Like you kind of just jump in and he's already like cutting up the fence, and then like that. I typically don't like that. So this was the first time when it's like, oh, this turned out to be good. Like I usually like it like set me up a little bit, but this kind of just went straight into it, and those usually aren't my forte.
At first, I couldn't remember the beginning of the movie, but then I was like, "Oh yeah, I remember." I
Yeah,
remember what he's
it literally
talking about.
just immediately just like starts.
Yeah. And you don't really know what he's doing, right? At first.
Yeah, like you don't know his name or like any of that. Type
Well,
stuff.
we'll get more of Brian's thoughts. Sounds like it's a positive for Brian, so we'll get more of Brian's thoughts on the video that will.
Can I tell you?
Tomorrow.
I was terrified to not like this movie. Like I knew there would be rap.
We all were.
Like the other,
I would have kicked you from this channel so fast.
no, there were the other two. I was like, I can get away with. Like this one, I was like, if I come,
I feel like Jake would have been like, "I'll be right back," and then we would have seen him drop kicking you
Yeah,
at your house
fine.
like 30 minutes later.
yeah.
Yeah. So we'll hear more about that. But Brian, you get to challenge somebody else, and I guess you can't. The only reason that wouldn't work, Brian can't challenge himself. So Brian would never get to
Thank
challenge
God.
anyone.
Correct.
If,
Then I'd be doing it every week.
but we could just switch off. We all just challenge him every week. But no, Brian, you get to challenge someone this week. So who do you have for us, and what 4 movies are they getting dealt?
So I had someone in mind originally, but I love that you guys updated your lists because it is giving me ideas. mind you, I still haven't seen about 90% of the movies you guys updated your list with. So I don't know how our little like review show is going to work because like if I'm trying to lead it, half these movies I've never seen. But
Maybe you have to watch them with us.
That's what I'm going to have to do with this week's. So I'm
sure you're challenging me. Are you challenging me? I know.
Yeah, I'm challenging you.
Yeah.
Nice.
I was going to originally challenge you until I saw a little section of your list that intrigued me. Do you know what section?
I only added like 3 new movies. I'm gonna add some more though.
Jake added a lot of good movies. Like there was a lot that I wanted to challenge to, a lot of more recent ones that I've seen. But you had one little section that it caught my eye, and I said it to Gio right before we started. Yep. Do you know what section it is?
Isn't it the Studio Ghibli stuff?
Yes.
Yeah. Ah, nice.
So the anime-ish movie.
I added all the Studio Ghibli movies I haven't seen.
So I have only seen Spirited Away. I've heard of every single one of the ones that are on this list. So I made a full anime wheel for it. It is considered anime, right? So
no, it's anime.
Yeah, okay. Anime. So I made a full anime movie list for Jake, which includes My Neighbor Totoro, Princess Mononoke, Castle in the Sky, and Kiki's Delivery Service. Okay. Nice. So I haven't seen any of these movies, but I'm probably going to end up watching whatever one lands on because I'm actually interested.
HBO Max, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. They're all on HBO Max. Yeah.
That's what I thought. That's awesome.
So,
and the reason why I added these to my list now, like they've always been on my watch list, but because Lucasfilm is currently working with Studio Ghibli. So it like kickstarted it, made me remember when Brian asked to put movies on our list. I was like, oh, we're getting all this Studio Ghibli stuff right now from Lucasfilm. Let me put these on the list. That way I never forget them. And I knew he was going to take a chance at these. So,
yeah. And he took a chance at all 4 of them. Yeah. 4 of them. Yeah. I'm curious, man. I want to watch these too, to be honest, because you guys challenged me to Spirited Away a few years ago and I loved it. So I'm excited for you.
I'm excited too. And I'm probably honestly going to watch whatever it lands on too. So are we ready?
Let's do it.
Last week we got Wild. Can we do it 2 weeks in a row?
Is there one you want, Jake, or no?
Princess Mononoke.
Oh, close.
Okay.
All right.
They're
all bangers.
My
According to Andy, they're all bangers, so I'm happy.
I've heard great things about all of them, honestly. So I heard a couple of them are really dark, though. I don't know which ones.
My name's not Keith, by the way, but that's okay.
I didn't even realize. How did I change that?
Interesting. Well, there you have it. Jake will be watching My Neighbor Totoro. I believe that one is on HBO Max. So if any of the viewers wanted to watch it as well and kind of so they can, once they watch Jake's review, they can know what he's talking about. Because I know not all film fans have seen these, but they're definitely ones you want to keep on your radar. Like I said, Spirited Away is honestly one of the best animated films I've ever seen. And I was so glad that you guys challenged me to it that one time. So
Gordon, your movie, The Howl's Moving Castle, was on Jake's list. I just ran out of options.
Yeah,
now,
so
its name on there. Now I'm actually genuinely curious.
I mean, it's probably been left there since the last time Keith was challenged, to be honest. So that means it's been there for like your challenge and my challenge and all the ones before that. Because I feel like Keith hasn't been challenged in a while, to be honest.
Oh, I found it. Okay.
Oh, he hasn't, because we haven't challenged him since he hasn't been on the show as much. Interesting. Okay. Well, there you have it. So, like I said, Brian's review of Nightcrawler will be up tomorrow. And then next week, we'll get Jake's review for My Neighbor Totoro. And then he will choose his next challengee. And I'm wondering who that's going to be.
Not me.
All righty, guys. So let's move on. We do have one other topic planned here before we get to the spoiler review of Andor, which I know a lot of people want to get to, but we're going to talk about, and I like this, we did this last month and we're doing it again. We're going to talk about some of our most anticipated movies for December. Now, each of us is really going to choose one movie that we like, are dying to see, cannot wait to see, with a couple honorable mentions here and there. This is going to be interesting. I feel like I know where some of you are going to go, maybe not some others.
Well, you two have one up on us because you have seen a December movie already. Glass Onion is a wide release in December.
That's a fair point.
You guys get to knock that off of your list.
Are you guys counting that when you approach this list?
I'm not going to count it because you two have seen it. I will just
Yeah.
say that I am extremely excited to see this movie. I have always been extremely excited to see this
Of
movie.
course, yeah.
But I'm not going to use it as mine just because you two have seen it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense for sure. All right, I'm gonna start with you, Gio. I can't guess
Well,
what
he's the
movie it's
easy
gonna
one.
be.
He's the easy
But
one. That's why.
Gio, what is your Jake? Do you want to start with most anticipated or just say our one?
Yeah. So I want you to talk about your most anticipated, and then at the end, just mention the 2 movies that you maybe are looking forward to. No detail on them, just mention them. But I want you to focus on the one that you're most looking forward to.
Okay, so I'll mention the one that was an honorable mention, and it's Will Smith's Emancipation on Apple. Yeah, just like
I
really
think it
looking
comes
forward
out.
to that
Doesn't
one.
that come out like this weekend or next weekend? Early, I think.
It's definitely
I'm
December, but it's
not
I think it's early.
sure.
December 2nd. December 2nd.
Wow.
This
Wow,
Friday.
there you
Up.
go.
Wait, it comes
Wow.
out in theaters this Friday, and it comes out on Apple next Friday.
Interesting.
There you go.
Might have to make another theater
Okay.
trip.
Yeah. One movie I'm looking forward to in December. Oh man. Come on now.
wonder.
It is Avatar: The Way of Water. Okay, like I know some of you out there are like, ugh, I'm not gonna waste my time with that movie or watch that movie. Come on, who asked for it? It's not the point. It's James Cameron, okay? The guy literally admitted in an interview, I think with GQ, that he was contemplating stepping away from filmmaking until he wanted to revisit Pandora. So whether you're a fan of it or not, we're getting more James Cameron. But this movie right here is exciting for so many reasons, okay? One, they've been working on this technology of mocap underwater for years, and we're going to finally see it in 3D. Now, some of you out there might cringe 3D. No. It's not James Cameron's fault that he set the bar so high for 3D and everyone else decided, you know what, we need to go 3D. With the exception of a few movies like Tron Legacy and The Amazing Spider-Man, the first one. Beautiful 3D movies. But Avatar: The Way of Water, the highest grossing movie of all time, is now making a return, and we're not just getting one, but 4 other sequels. And there are things in this movie that I am for sure looking forward to. One is Sigourney Weaver, her coming back, right? How the hell is she going to come back? Well, she's not only an Avatar, but she's also like a teenager. Just process that for a moment. James Cameron said, "Hey, Sigourney Weaver, we know you're great. Our collaborations in the past, excellent. We want you to come back and play an Avatar, the daughter of Jake Sully." Talk about a challenge that I cannot wait to see Sigourney Weaver pull off. And then you're bringing back Stephen Lang as the Colonel. And I don't know why, but it didn't hit me until I found out that he's actually coming back as an Avatar. To me, that's brilliant. Okay, say what
Did
you
I
will
know
about
that
Avatar.
before you? Oh man.
Probably. Yeah, so you're the expert, Jake. Come on, man. But
Insider Jake coming at you.
there it is right there. But I mean, say what you will about Avatar. The Colonel, and I can't remember his full Colonel Quaritch, excuse me. One of the best villains for a non-IP blockbuster movie, in my opinion. And I'm glad he's coming back. The trailers have looked incredible. The visual effects are reminding you what top notch looks like. And if anything, it's James Cameron and him giving us a sequel. And we know how James Cameron is with sequels. I mean, they're arguably better than the first movies. Okay, I'm talking about T2 and Aliens. So this has been a long time coming. And I can't wait to
Really long
revisit
time.
Pandora. We're going to get the underwater, possibly the neighboring planets of Pandora, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited for this journey. So, Avatar: The Way of Water.
Good choice, Gio. I mean, we joke about it, but I'm looking forward to it too. Obviously, it's going to be a spectacle, and it's James Cameron doing a sequel. I just wish I knew a little bit of the plot from the trailers. They literally give you nothing, but other than that,
It's about
looks amazing.
family.
Looks absolutely incredible. So
Oh, Jesus.
I'm excited for it. Hey, I hope they cross it over with Fast and Furious. That'd be
No,
great.
please,
That'd be
God.
great.
What? Hey,
Look,
they go to
No, if
space.
then we would get validated in all of us talking bad about Avatar. It would be
This,
amazing.
Like I think I've been the one who has questioned this movie the most on this channel. And no matter how much I question it, like there is still a part of me that's excited to see what it's all about.
Yeah.
You know, James Cameron hasn't directed anything since the original Avatar, so for him to spend that much time on a project, you know, it intrigues me just because he is such a highly regarded filmmaker. And for him to put that much time into something is obviously like, okay, well, I need to pay attention to it a little bit. It's going to be visually stunning. Like there's no question about that. It's going to be what the first movie was all over again, just 13 years later. Like I don't have any issues or problems or questions about how it's going to look, feel, etc. I'm just worried a little bit that it's going to feel too much like the first. Like, you know, I know that a lot of sequels take elements from the first movie and kind of transform them or do something a little bit differently, but also kind of do something that is very similar. I'm just a little afraid that bringing the Colonel back, and granted, it's different because he's in an Avatar body and it's going to be a different fight. It's not like the same human army that they're facing this time, etc. I'm just a little nervous that's going to feel so similar to the first that I'm not going to be like excited about it at the end. I could be completely wrong, and I hope I am. I don't want it to feel too similar to the first movie. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair concern, to be honest. And like, I feel like the first movie trailers gave us a little bit of story. I have no idea what's going on in this movie, but it looks so beautiful, though. Like, how could you not be mesmerized by those visuals? Like, especially when they played in the big screen. Amazing. Brian, I'm not sure if this movie's on your honorable mention list at all, but are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, I very much echo you, actually. I just wish I knew what the hell was going on.
Yeah, it's fair.
Like, I think I would be more excited if someone could tell me, like, this is the plot of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, all I honestly know is that, like, there's water avatars now. Apparently,
There's different clans. There's the clan that Jake Sully's in, you know, and they're going to be forced to go and pair up with another clan, but that clan wants nothing to do with them and what they've the trouble they brought to Pandora. Meanwhile, the Colonel is back, and people may or may not be aware of it at the time, or like of what's going on. And obviously the humans are back in Pandora as well. So
yeah, I mean, obviously there's going to be a lot of stuff that happen from that.
I just feel like the marketing has not been great for this movie. Like, just personally, I think that marketing could have stepped it up. I mean, this is about to be, I mean, they need $2 billion to break even. Spend that money.
Easy.
Like,
I'm not going to say
I don't
easy,
think that's
not.
I don't think that's true.
That's not easy. And Jacob, I think that's 100%
easy.
true.
You know why?
I think that's 100%
because the movie's going to release in China.
That
doesn't. But we've seen movies released in China before and not make $200 million. Like, I don't think there's any issue or like if there's a movie that can, like, we look into it and be like, oh, $200 million. Like, of course, like, yeah, like it's Avatar, but I kind of do agree with Brian in the sense that the marketing, I think, I'm not going to say that it's bad, but I think the approach has been a little weird. They've been focusing so much on the visuals, whereas, like Jacob's saying, half the people probably have no idea what the movie's even about.
Well,
Like,
look, if you're a
the
fan of the
marketing-
first movie, I think the trailers work for you because you're just going back to that world. But if let's say you're somebody who's skeptical or you're not a fan of the first, you've never seen it, how do you get those people interested in the marketing?
I think. Go ahead.
I was just to say the marketing to me has been very much like, "Hey, we're Avatar. We made another movie. Come see it." Like that's kind of the vibe I get.
and maybe that's all they need to do. I don't know. Like, I haven't
if-
looked at ticket sales or
it
It's
works,
going to
then-
make a crap ton of money.
because I mean,
Make no
tickets are
mistake.
out. We'll be there
Make no
opening
mistake.
night. We're going
Yeah,
to see it in
so-
IMAX together, and I didn't look like the day or two after to see what ticket sales had looked like or whatever. But I mean, I have no doubt the movie's going to make a ton of money. I am just wondering. I'm not worried about how much money it's going to make like opening weekend or whatever. I'm wondering what the legs look like. Legs these days are very different compared to 13 years ago. Like Avatar 13 years ago were making legs because there weren't as much Marvel movies, like all that types of stuff.
It was a completely different world in 2009, to be
That's
honest.
what I'm saying. Like
No.
I'm very curious on the types of legs what is the rewatchability? Because the first Avatar had an incredible rewatchability when it first came out. Will this one have the same being 3 hours? That's all I'm saying.
It could.
I mean,
Gio,
those
what
are
were
fair.
those last thoughts?
How far?
No,
how
those
long
were,
was the movie?
Those are fair points. I think if anything, the word of mouth is gonna be kind of the driving force behind how much, because I think this movie will have legs. Okay, remember the first movie didn't shatter records on opening weekend, domestic or international, but it hung around, it hung around, it hung around, and all of a sudden, people are talking about it, and whether, because we all know how film Twitter feels about this movie, for the most part, there's not many people are excited. I'd say about like, I don't know, 2/3 are kind of in the middle, and then you have 1/3 that's just shitting on it or whatnot. But like I've told everyone, like whether you're into it or not, you're not going to stop hearing about this movie for better or worse. It's going to be a movie that your coworkers are going to talk about, your relatives are going to talk about, your neighbors are going to talk about, your friends are going to talk about, so on and so forth. And maybe it'll get to a point to where, okay, I'll just watch it just because I don't want to miss out on this theatrical experience. Look at Top Gun Maverick. Top Gun Maverick pretty much dominated the summer box office all the way up until Labor Day, from Memorial Day till Labor Day,
And they're about to.
and now it's going to get
re-release next month.
re-released.
That's crazy. Like it was just. I don't even think it ever left. How is it?
So
it's still playing.
great movie, but also a theatrical experience. So
I don't know,
Yeah.
Gio. How much money is Puss in Boots going to take away from
my
Avatar the
God.
following week?
Ooh.
How much?
well,
money?
if Strange
70
World is any
million?
indication, it's I don't know.
You know what? Those people who didn't support Strange World need to go F off.
Strange
That's just
World might have.
wrong.
Strange World might have been one of the worst advertised movies I've ever
Yes.
seen.
Yes, you know why? Blame this
Yeah.
guy. Blame.
I
that.
literally,
I'm
until I heard like it did horrible at the box office, I thought it was a Disney Plus movie.
Disney's about
Exactly.
Disney's about to take a whole new direction on stuff.
That's
in
what went
2023.
wrong. They released
Yeah.
all their animated films on Disney Plus, so everyone's like, "Wait a minute, why isn't this on Disney Plus?"
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
Well,
let's go crazy.
Chapek wasn't going to tell James Cameron anything. In fact, there are interviews where James Cameron literally told executives to F off, and they
I'm
did.
sure.
So-
Oh, I'm sure. I would love to see that in real life. Well, I'm sure we're not going to spend that much time on every movie that we talk about. Maybe we will. Jake, I'm going to
It's
go
the
to you.
it's the biggest movie of December, so it
Jake,
it makes sense.
I have a feeling I know what movie you're going to take because it also is. I think you're going to take mine, but I want to give it to you. We'll see. Maybe not. We'll see. But I'm going to go to you, Jake Berlin. What is your number one most anticipated and your honorable mentions?
My number one most anticipated, no question, is Babylon.
Oh, yep.
The Damien Chazelle film with Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie, 1920s Hollywood. I am a Damien Chazelle fanboy. A little lesser of a fanboy than I am Denis Villeneuve. But there's not a Damien Chazelle movie I don't love. Whiplash, La La Land, First Man. I love them all so much. and I just love the creative takes that he has with film. And when you get to touch something like 1920s Hollywood, which is such a unique time in our history, right? Like the way that people went about things, obviously the film world, and then you put Brad Pitt and Margot Robbie in this movie, who I have no doubt are going to be buck wild in this film. I mean, Margot Robbie looks like she's high the entire time. Her character, anyway, not her. I'm so excited. We haven't seen a movie from him since First Man with Ryan Gosling in was that 2017?
2018. It was a while ago.
2018? Yeah, it was 4 or 5 years ago. The official trailer actually came out this morning, like the full-fledged trailer, so you can go check that out online. I just love the idea, and I love the time period. I'm kind of like a period piece nut. When they step back in time with stuff like this, I really, really enjoy it, especially that far back.
100 years.
I really enjoyed something like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but I love going back even farther to like something like the 1920s and something that isn't touched as much. Excuse me. And going back to Giselle, I just think that he's such a fantastic storyteller. His scripts are always so tight and clean and crisp and to the point and direct, and there's no like loose holes or anything like that in his writing and also in his direction. And I'm just very excited to see him touch something like this and have someone like Brad Pitt and Margot Robbie lead the film, who were in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, if I may mention. So yeah, I'm all for it. I'm excited. I think that it's a very interesting piece of film and one of the most unique films we'll probably get this year. It was very high up on my most anticipated list at the very beginning of the year, and I hope it lives up to it. His movies usually do. He's one of those filmmakers that chooses projects very specifically, and I can't wait to see what he does. So yeah, Babylon.
Yeah, I mean, other than like if none of us had seen Glass Onion, mine probably would have been Glass Onion, but Babylon was mine too. I'll highlight another one of my other movies, but Babylon, I mean, I'm a fan of Damien Chazelle as well, not as much as you are, but I love Whiplash and La La Land. They're both damn near masterpieces. And
he did Whiplash?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was his first film.
That recently,
or his first major film, excuse me.
So on firstshowing.net, they go a little bit more into the movie and they talk about how it's during the transition from from silent films to the talkies. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that era of film is so fascinating to me. That's actually, which I didn't even know this until recently because I watched it recently, Singing in the Rain. That's what that movie's about as well. But obviously this is going to be a modern version telling of that era of Hollywood. And it just looks bonkers. And you have Damien Chazelle doing it with that cast. I can't wait. Like I'm definitely looking forward to that. What were your honorable mentions, Jake?
Obviously Glass Onion, which I haven't seen yet. I kept that off the list just because you guys had seen it this past week. But a movie that I really wanted to highlight, I'm not going to talk much on. I hope I get a chance to see it. I don't know if I will. But that's Brendan Fraser in The Whale.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A movie that he got like a massive standing ovation for at it was either I think it was the Venice Film Festival. I could be wrong. I love him as an actor, and I think that he was, for some reason, at some point, Hollywood just decided to stop using him, which is so strange. And I cannot wait to see him in this type of role. It's funny because I usually do not like Darren Aronofsky films. Darren Aronofsky did Mother, which is the infamous movie that I walked out of like with 30
didn't you
minutes
get
left.
Challenged to one of his movies recently too? Or was that not him?
With Jared Leto and Jennifer Connelly, Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah, that's funny.
So yeah, I'm usually not an Aronofsky fan, but there's been such hype around this movie. I just have to go see it if I get the chance to see it. And he's starring alongside the girl who plays Max in Stranger Things, Sadie Sink.
Right, yeah.
Which I love her as an actress as well. I think she has a very bright future. But yeah, The Whale, man, I'm so excited to see him in this role. And we've gotten this trailer that's like 30 seconds long that is basically just him standing up. We have no idea what this movie looks like, which intrigues me even more. So yeah, The Whale is the one that I'm like, dark horse of December, possible Oscar contender. Could Brendan Fraser get an actual Oscar this year because of this movie? I mean, I'm stoked.
Yeah, same. I mean, I'm looking forward to that one very much as well. Definitely in like my top 4. Brian, what is your? I'm curious. Honestly, you're the only one I could not pinpoint what your number 1 would be, to be honest. But what is it? And you got a couple honorable mentions as well.
Mine was Glass Onion. That was mine.
Yeah. If I was including that, I would guess that. Yeah.
If we're not including it, it would have been Avatar. But
okay.
Glass
Onion.
Onion.
You're gonna say Violent Night.
No,
That movie looks awesome.
It looks funny. No, Glass Onion. Love the cast.
Yeah, seriously.
The cast is, I think, the thing that makes me most excited, which was funny because that was the thing that made me most excited for Knives Out.
You two better hold poker faces right now.
Yeah. Get rid of them.
Say nothing.
Should I kick him off for a second, Brian?
No. Yeah. I mean, first movie was great. Fantastic. I love my favorite movies are the ones where I'm trying to figure out who done it by the end of the movie, whatever it is. Those are my favorite type of movies because for the hour and a half to 2.5 hours, whatever length the movie is, I'm nonstop like playing detective in my brain while I'm watching these movies.
I actually have a question for you two. And
Sure.
obviously no spoilers. I'm not going to get into that. But did either of you guess correctly on who done it?
I would say no, at least on my end, no.
No, but there were a couple times where I leaned over to Jacob and I was like, I think there's something there. I think,
Okay.
Okay.
I'm just curious.
We picked up on hints, but none of us got it. Got it.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Brian, we're going to have
It's
to go see this
definitely
together.
fun. But I will say, you can skip Death on the Nile, though. You don't have to watch that whodunit.
I've already seen that.
Absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's a good one to be looking forward to. Like
Andy,
I said,
I didn't ask you, Andy.
mine was
Or you,
actually
Karen.
Babylon as well. And of course, I'm looking forward to Emancipation and the Whale. But I do want to highlight one movie that I came across.
My honorable mentions just get
Yeah,
thrown
what are you
to the
mentioning?
side.
Like
go
6
ahead.
movies here, Jacob? What the hell?
Hold on, Jake. You went
Looking
in
forward to
depth
this
on
movie,
2
this
movies.
movie, and this movie.
I didn't go on depth.
You went in depth on the Whale
Sorry.
and Babylon. Come on.
We spent 15 minutes on Avatar.
Yeah,
As
that's the
you
problem
should.
here. That is
You
the
should have a
problem
whole
here.
show
I'll
on
highlight.
Avatar.
We
Brian,
will.
I'm so sorry. What are your honorable
will.
mentions? And you got 30
Um,
minutes on each.
Mine was Avatar. Avatar.
Okay,
and
30 minutes. Come on.
My other one is going to be spoiler alert. It's funny. I don't even know.
At first I was like, what is it?
Wait, is that the name?
That's the
Yeah,
name.
that's
of
the
it.
name of the movie. Hey, that
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
looks really good. That actually looks really good.
Yeah, we saw.
It's funny. I was talking to my mom this year, and she actually pointed out, and I didn't even really realize it, that this year has been very much like they've put a lot of gay movies out. That sounds funny. A lot of movies with
We get what you're saying.
QIA plus
Yes.
themes.
Like Bros.
Bros, My Policeman. This
Well,
movie.
they come in threes, Brian. Not. I mean, that's just like the saying, but they all come in groups.
Oh, is My Policeman? I didn't know that was.
Yeah, Harry
Yeah.
Styles.
Yeah.
Well,
it's
I've seen it on. Is it on Apple TV
Prime.
or Prime?
Prime.
Yeah.
Prime.
It's a Prime Video production. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of cool seeing movies like this being made.
Did you watch My Policeman, Brian?
No, not yet. I haven't had time. I want
We
to.
have time this week.
No, because I'm probably gonna watch your movie. They even made a gay slasher movie this year. They slash them.
Oh, that's right.
It was on Peacock. Kevin Bacon was the main guy.
Well, you're seeing more representation in general. Like, I don't know if the novel Knock at the Cabin, is that what it's called? Knock at the Cabin, the M. Night Shyamalan movie?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I
So
Knock at the cabin. Yeah.
There's 2 fathers and they have adopted
Yeah.
a little Asian girl. And so you're seeing more representation overall.
I'm telling
yeah.
you, it comes
is
in
great.
groups. Like there, like 5 years ago, we saw the trend of every action movie needs to have a female lead. Like
Yeah.
it all just when one studio does it or one filmmaker, everyone else wants to follow.
I just
That's
hope
how-
it's not a fad. Like it does mean a lot to be able to go see a movie that like you can kind of just like relate to, because obviously I don't get that like you guys do. But it is nice to see, and yeah, I enjoy seeing this. Although, for the love of God, can we please make a movie with that for gay people that has a happy ending? I haven't seen Bros yet. I know that one has happy.
Bros definitely has a happy ending. It's got to.
Bros. They literally, part of their marketing was like, this is the first freaking gay movie that has a positive ending.
Maybe
really? Does I Love Simon doesn't have a positive ending?
Well, okay, Love Simon does.
Was it called Love Simon?
Yeah,
Love
Love
Simon,
Simon does.
Yeah.
But like 2 out of, I've seen a lot like in the last year, and someone dies at every single one. They always end together and this and that.
Well,
I would just like,
spoiler alert, I don't think is going to have a happy ending, but
I don't think so either.
that's the whole point of the name of the movie. But
Well,
I think there could be a joyful movie throughout, though. Like
the Old Guard had a happy ending. Neither of them died.
Oh yeah, that's fair. But
And
yeah,
they
no.
were the most entertaining parts of the movie, honestly.
Andy, I
forgot
might
about
just
that
buy
in the Old
Bros
Guard.
and
Yeah,
just
good call.
watch it.
All right, so I just want to highlight one more movie that comes out in December, which looks so interesting, and that is The Green One. Have you guys heard of this movie?
Yes.
You mean the mean
The what?
Oh, I just
the mean
saw
one?
this. The horror.
Oh, the mean one, not the green one. Yeah, the mean one, where it's like a Grinch ripoff, but it's like a green creature in a
It's a
Santa
horror.
suit,
It's a horror film. It's
kills this girl's parents.
Yeah.
It's in the synopsis, and then she
Yeah.
goes out for revenge. I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, and her name's Cindy also. So it's like the Dr. Seuss story, just violent, scary horror one. brought to life.
That's because it's a trend right now. You had the
Yeah.
Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, I was gonna say
one.
the Winnie the Pooh one.
They just.
No, I don't think that's come out yet.
Yeah,
No,
it
no,
hasn't.
but
but it's
it's
coming.
Blood and
Yeah.
Honey. Yeah, it came out.
Well, I think they're doing another one. If it didn't,
They
I
did.
don't know.
Yeah.
They just announced that they're doing Bambi as a horror.
That's what it was. It was Bambi. It was the
Of
Bambi horror
course.
movie.
What, is it gonna be
Bambi is a
Killer
horror
Deer?
movie.
I
Killer
know
Deer.
it is.
For some reason, the mean one comes out on December 15th, which is a Thursday. It's like the only movie that comes
It's
out.
taking
that day.
Avatar's money, baby.
I don't know why it's because of Avatar, probably.
Yeah.
That's exactly why.
It's taking that money.
Hey, I'm going to see the mean one that weekend. Let's bring our
going
fifth member in here real quick, and just in time to talk about maybe his most anticipated December film. Keith, how you doing, man?
I nearly almost jumped in right then to tell Jake to settle down. The Avatar money.
You know
Thank
it's
you.
true. You know it's true.
Thank you.
That's hilarious.
Thank you.
That's pretty funny. Hey guys,
Counter marketing, it works.
no, actually, it might. It could be. What do they call that when it's like the big
Counter
movie?
programming.
Counter. Yeah. So yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, Curtis, you're right. Sorry, Curtis. It's Bros is streaming on Peacock on December 2nd.
Oh, there you go.
Perfect.
Yeah. I do want to see that. Emma says hi, by the way. Emma just told me to tell your friends.
Oh,
Hey,
hi,
Emma.
Emma.
So-
Hello.
Keith, so you're jumping in right as we're about to wrap up our most anticipated movies for December. Basically, we all highlighted one movie that we're really looking forward to. We already talked
Yes.
about Avatar, Babylon,
We talked about it
and
all.
Glass Onion. But anything what's your number one most anticipated, unless it's one of those?
Well, it's one of those. But aside from
That's
those,
fine.
You
You still give us your thoughts on it.
Oh no, I'm super Avatar, man. I'm super excited. That's one of those movies that I've done a 180 on. So I'm interested and excited about this one. So yeah, and of course Glass Onion. I wish I could have gone with you guys to see it very much. I still might. I think it's in there. But tomorrow's last day, I think.
Today.
Tonight.
Today. Oh no, I thought it was tomorrow.
Keith, go at midnight.
No, I'll be in there sound asleep. But yeah, definitely that. But this Christian Bale movie, the Edgar Allan Poe movie, which Edgar Allan Poe is what a weird guy with a weird life.
What is the movie called?
And a weird, mysterious death. The Pale Blue Eye.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't
man.
know that was
Gillian
coming
Anderson, Scolder in there, and no wait, she's Scolder. Which one was she? Gillian Anderson. X-Files. Nobody watched X-Files?
You talking about the main girl from X-Files?
Yes.
Yes.
Gillian Anderson.
Oh yeah,
Gillian
yeah, I know who
Anderson,
she
yeah.
is. Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
the mother in Sex Education as well.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Okay. Oh, you love that show. Yeah. You talking about that.
It's great.
Yeah, Toby Jones is in it. Robert Duvall, which I didn't know was in this movie. But yeah, definitely looking at that. I was looking at the Vanity Fair article from last month about it. And, yeah, it looks, I don't know, looks good. Looks good. So, Christian Bale kind of got, in my opinion, a little shortchanged earlier this year in Thor whatever.
Love and Thunder.
Yeah. So, but anyway, he's one of those guys, anything he's in, I'm in. So
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah,
Awesome.
definitely
Jake, I have a question for you. Why
What's
is
up?
Babylon 3 hours and 9 minutes long?
I know y'all bitching about Avatar. God damn.
Why is Avatar 3 hours long?
What's Babylon? What is that? I saw
Because it's
The
James
Damien
Cameron.
Chazelle film.
Damien.
It's the Damien Chazelle film that's based in 1920s Hollywood with Brad Pitt and Margot Robbie.
Oh yeah, Gene Smart. Oh wow.
Because the other 3-hour movie that came out earlier this year is still top 5.
Oh my god.
I think they should have a rule.
Okay.
Movies can't be longer than 2.5 hours. Boom.
Oh
Let's-
God, you sound like 2017.
let's put it in.
Stop.
No. All right. Well, that's going to wrap up our December movie discussion. And for the rest of the show, hopefully you're caught up, Keith. We're going to be talking Andor. All of us have watched Andor, so it's going to be a full-on spoiler discussion here on out. So if you have not seen it, you can either stick around and be spoiled, or you can head out of here.
Gio,
Jake, you're more of
Gio, have you seen
it? You guys have been doing the Fandalorian Club, and you guys have been reviewing every single episode. So I kind of want you to lead the discussion, Jake, here on Andor, just because you guys have been following it very, very closely.
Yeah, well,
Why
Brian and I
does
were
Jake get to? Why not me? I was
You
at
want to,
every-
Brian? You want to?
Brian and I
Okay, exactly.
weren't able to. Brian and I weren't able to do our last episode last week because of the holiday weekend. We were. I was flying the time that we were supposed to do it. I was unfortunately not home, and so I figured, you know what? Why not talk it with the group here? Talk about the final episode. Talk about the show overall. We have about 30 minutes or so it should be plenty enough time to talk about it. I will just say off the bat, and Brian and I talked about it, I think for the first 10 minutes of every single episode while reviewing this show it's phenomenal.
Mhm.
It is absolutely phenomenal from start to finish. I mean, it may have things that don't work here and there, like very, very slight things, but the writing is so well crafted and so well paced. It's so meticulous and detailed, and everything happens for a reason. You may see something in episode 3 that comes back in episode 7. And the finales, just speaking on that by itself, it wrapped up everything perfectly. I think that every storyline that had been going on from the previous couple of episodes that we had been wondering about and curious on how they were going to finish it off and then lead into season 2, because we know that's coming. I thought that they did it very, very well done. It was just very well done. Tony Gilroy, who storyboarded this whole series, he helped write the episodes and headed it all. I just think that he basically took an idea that wasn't Star Wars and just planted Star Wars over the top. And I've talked about this with a lot of things in the past. Things typically work best when they're not created as that property. It's so strange to think about, but Andor is at its core is a spy espionage thriller. It's not Star Wars. And I say that because Star Wars to people is lightsabers and the Force and the Jedi and the Sith and Yoda and all of these different things. We don't see any of that in this series. Now, I'm not saying that we won't, because there's a possibility with seeing stuff here in the future in season 2. But season 1 was focused on it's so weird. It was focused on such a small part of the galaxy, but has such a massive critical part in everything that's coming its way. And obviously that's why that post-credit scene was included in the show, because that's what everything is heading towards. That they put that there to say, look, we're telling this very small, secluded story, but don't forget that this is the reason this is all happening right now. The Death Star, that is the end game for everything that's coming. Diego Luna, I mean, I don't have to talk much about him. He's he knows this character and he knows how to play this character, and he is just fantastic. Stellan Skarsgård is my favorite addition to Star Wars in such a long time. I think his Luthen character is such a brilliant take on a rebel we've never met before, like a different type of rebel. Obviously, a very early version of a rebel. I love Deidre. I love Bix.
Jake likes Bix a lot.
I love Bix, and Cyril was the only thing I was like, oh, does the story really matter at the end? Yes, it did, but like, where's it going to go in season 2 that makes it feel a little bit better in this season? I just love Star Wars, man, and you guys know this, but spy espionage stuff is like my jam. Like, that is what I love, and when you plant that in Star Wars and you give me something like this, it's just, yeah, I love it so much, and I thought the ending was fantastic. Marva for the win, MVP, that whole sequence. But I will say that officer who kicked over B2 Emo can go fuck himself.
Nice. Yeah, let's just open it up, Brian. I mean, since you guys have been doing the Mandalorian review,
I'm guessing Gio just watched the post-credit scene.
I didn't know there was a post-credit scene.
Throw it to you, Brian. Let you get your thoughts out.
I mean, Jake said pretty much most of it because he says everything about all of it. This was a movie that just got split up into 12 parts. Like that, I've said that every single week while we were watching this. Never once did I feel the like lull or like,
yeah, it feels very cinematic.
Yeah.
Right?
Or did I feel like I was, oh, this is a filler episode? Like, no, like it was literally it literally felt like, okay, this is like just that next little part of the movie. Like it just literally just felt like one long movie. And I don't think I've ever like watched a show where it's just like, it felt like one freaking long movie. And I think genuinely, like, when season 2 is done, if they keep this up, like, it would be really fun, be a lot of time to just watch like as much as you can straight. Just literally, it would be
4 hours.
It's a long time, but I mean, it's
That's
fantastic.
like 3 days, Brian.
What?
That's like 3 days worth of watching stuff.
I don't care.
That'd be a cool thing to do. Like if you had a couple of buddies to do that with, that'd be cool.
You can watch it in one day. If you get up at like 8 a.m. and just start it, you can have it done by 7:30 or 8 at night. You can watch it all in one day.
You watch
if you
it
take
all the
no
way
breaks.
through. I mean, what are they, like 45-minute long? So
Yeah.
I guess it's not 24 hours.
You could do it in a weekend, Andy. You're right.
It's a 3-day weekend.
It just, everything about it was just done so well. The casting was A tier. Like there was no bad cast person in this. The writing was just clearly, I shouldn't say A tier, S tier. It was just, everything about this was just phenomenal. So
so Keith, we talked about it on Bartley and Barnes, right? And what do you say? You said I hate the show because I wasn't on the same level as everybody else.
Don't act like you don't. You do.
Okay. So we talked, I think it was at like episode 9 or 10 when we did our reviews.
And you're like, I mean, it's good, but I don't get it. Why has everyone left this show?
Because everyone was like literally everybody I talked to said they only had good things to say about it, nothing bad. And everyone said it's all amazing. Everything about it's amazing.
Yes.
And I was like, yeah, I mean, it's really good. But you know what? Episodes 11 and 12.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And I don't want to take up too much time. But
11.
Wait a second. How did the first 3 episodes they didn't catch what?
Prison?
Guys.
What the
hold
fuck?
on. You guys are doing it again, attacking people's opinions. Like, relax.
You're
just
wrong.
An opinion.
Your
just an
opinion
opinion.
wrong. Again, just like in
look, no. Here's what I'm saying.
Hang on.
Everybody else in the
Let him
world,
talk.
to me, is acting like it's a masterpiece, like it's the best thing I've ever seen in Star Wars. And I'm like, okay, like, can I just take some time to like realize that for myself? Like, I didn't think it was that great.
Jake,
but
fire up Whiskey Jedi. Let's go.
until I'm telling you, episodes 11 and 12 were absolutely amazing. Like some of the best television I've seen, period. And the ending of episode 11 is one of the best scenes in Star Wars ever.
Yeah.
Ever. And I will say, and I know everybody thinks this, I'm repeating something that everybody else has said already, but Luthen is the most badass mother effer in Star Wars. Like, I know people have theories about him and stuff, but like, I just think Stellan Skarsgård, man, like have we ever had a character that complex in Star Wars? Like, I don't know if we have. Maybe Vader, maybe Anakin, obviously, but such an amazing character. Gio and Keith, man, you guys have seen it. Keith, I'll go to you, man. I know you love the show as well.
Yes.
How do you feel about the finale?
I mean, I've always said, I do want to highlight this really quick because, yes, John Pedro. Hold on, my slow computer is not. Absolutely. Notice the hate Kathleen Kennedy crowd never gives any credit for the Star Wars shows they like. Absolutely agree, but we'll get to that later or another time. But as far as the show, you guys know I love Rogue One. It's probably, goes between 1 and 2. It's probably my favorite Star Wars movie. It's always between that and Empire, but I think this show is just more of that, more of it. It's just added so much more to the character of Cassian Andor, which is stuff that I was already intrigued, interested. I mean, they announced this in was it 2018 maybe? I think when they announced this show.
They announced it during the first.
I feel like it was
that virtual Disney day they did. Where they announced all of those Marvel shows as well. They announced this when Disney Plus was like first announced, or around then or something.
Was it? It wasn't the same time.
I feel like it was 18.
This was one of the first things. This was announced alongside Mandalorian.
This wasn't during the investors call where they announced like the Lando show, right? This was way before.
It was way before.
This was announced alongside Mandalorian as like one of the Star Wars shows coming to Disney.
That's right. I
think Andy, I feel like you probably Jake, maybe I just don't remember, but that's the memory I have. But you might be right though. I'm not sure, but well, whatever. A long time ago.
Disney CEO Bob Iger announced in November 2017.
17. Wow. Goodness gracious. Okay. So 5 years ago. So we were all excited about that then. I definitely was. And they more than delivered. I mean, and Jake, you hit on everything with Tony Gilroy, right?
Tony Gilroy.
Okay.
Tony Gilroy.
I mean, they're all involved. Tony Gilroy.
Wait, they both direct though, right? Like in general, not this show.
They both direct and write and produce. So yeah.
So it's like you can't even distinguish them.
There's a third one too, right? Isn't there a third one that's involved as well?
Yeah, there's another Gilroy. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Gilroy brothers are, they're awesome.
Killing it.
Are they better than the Russo brothers? I don't know. They might be.
Yeah.
But this show. Listen, I can't think of anything that's wrong with the show. Honestly, that I hasn't been anything where I've been like, I don't feel like I'm overselling it. I mean, I think it's that compelling. It's that great. It has so much depth to let's say with Cassian Andor, but everything was such a mysterious character, and they've added this whole like world or universe around him. I just think it's just wonderful. I can't say enough good about it. You guys hit on everything mostly, but and there's so many characters that we may or may not ever see again, but I'm okay with that, because the storytelling involved in it. Like there was an arc for almost every episode. But some
reminded me of something. What happened to Andy Serkis's character? Did he have to stay there?
Don't know.
After everyone left?
We'll never know.
Don't know. And I'm okay with that though. I mean, we may never know. We may never see him again. Who knows?
That was so like shocking. Like, did they not think they had to? They knew they were in water, right?
I don't think they did. I don't know if they knew they were that. I mean, they're.
Well, yeah. Remember, they They were blindfolded when Cassian first.
Oh,
got
you're
there.
right. And they just
Right.
drop them off and they close the thing
but there
behind them,
was
huh?
water coming down.
But either way, like they're probably thinking like get out and there's land close by or something.
Yeah,
but
they don't know that they're up on
I
a
felt
cliff.
so bad when he
500
was saying
feet
he
in the air.
couldn't swim, and then Cassian got like knocked down on accident.
Yeah.
Felt so bad for
It's
him.
just one of those things we'll just never know, which, you know, but that's fine.
But like I kind of like that
Either
because
way.
things like that happen in life too. Like
Sure, that's exactly right.
yeah,
Exactly right.
So.
And there's a bunch of those, and just the torture stuff with Bix was just like, oh man, we have no idea the exact thing that's happening to her because, you know, but it seems like
the
it's
sound.
awful, right?
Yeah,
it's just there's so much stuff.
That's that effect where the filmmaker intentionally turns the camera away.
Right.
Tarantino, right?
Yes.
Reservoir Dogs.
Stuff
Yeah.
happens off screen. Yes, exactly right. It's exactly right. Where you don't see it, but you can feel it. You know it's something terrible. And that it's just, to me, it's just this masterclass in storytelling and filmmaking. This show, I think it's great.
absolutely. Gio, let's get your thoughts, man.
You guys aren't paying attention. We obviously know what happens to Andy Serkis. Okay, he gets
Oh,
scarred.
that's
He turns
right.
into Snoke.
He hits his
he
face
takes
on a
over
rock.
the galaxy.
And then,
Okay. I'm sure they'll piece it together in another Disney spinoff. But
Why'd they choose him though? Like to model the.
you know what?
clone
Though, really
after?
quick, just before you go, Gio, Andy
Go ahead,
Serkis, because of everything he does, obviously with his Thank you, Andy. Yes, Jeff Snoke. Remember Jacob? Jeff Snoke.
Oh yeah, that's right.
With everything he does with his motion capture or performance capture or whatever, I mean, he doesn't get enough credit for what a spectacular, incredible actor he is. He might be one of the best we have on the planet. He's such a great actor. His voice. Did anybody know that he was going to be on the show?
No.
That's crazy how they kept that secret. Like
That's what I said to Jake when we did Mandalorian. This is one of the most surprising things. Like Star Wars needs to like, or Marvel needs to go back to like how lock and key Star Wars is.
Sure.
Because like the fact that got kept on the low
right
this whole time, like has not happened in a long
remember
time.
I put it in our group chat. I was like, oh, Andy Serkis. Like
Yeah.
I was watching it right in that moment when I texted you guys. Like, wow,
Yeah.
that was awesome. So yeah, but no, he I hope he does get an Emmy, Andy. That would be, or something, whatever. Give him an Oscar too. He should get an Academy Award for
Even though it's not a movie, just give it to him.
Yeah, just throw it out his head.
Yeah, sorry, Gio. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, it's all good. Yeah, you guys said a lot, and a lot of it I do agree with. For me, it's all the rebellion stuff. It's these characters being put in situations where they have to test their limits and how much they believe in this thing, you know, that is the rebellion, right? It's the conflict, the internal conflict of, you know, between right and wrong, like choosing sacrifices for the greater good. For example, like when Luthen and oh my god, why
Saw
I just
Gerrera?
had his name, huh?
Saw Gerrera.
Saw Gerrera. Wow, I can't believe I just forgot that. But anyways, they're going back and forth about one of their comrades. Starts with the K, the character, but they're like, really, you're gonna have me make the choice of
Krieger.
whether or not, you know, we gotta let this guy and his men go? Like, really? For the greater good? How dare you? And I love that kind of exchange, whether it's between two people or a single character like Mon Mothma and what she her coming to terms with what she had to do.
Yeah.
Like I think about that last episode and her sitting at that couch with I think it was her sister or relative cousin, something like that. But like,
Oh, yeah.
how she's starting to get emotional because she's like, I do have a way out because the Empire is starting to get on my ass about this 400,000 credits. And then you're like, wait a minute, what's she going to do? And then you see it
Right.
when, spoiler, she's deliberately painting her husband to be this gambling addict to take the fall for, you know, this money that she's trying to, you know, cover up. And it's character moments like that, great writing for me, that more than the action, that elevates this show. It's taking what what we saw in Rogue One, especially early on with Diego Luna's character, and expanding on that and seeing the desperation, the trouble to hold on to hope and buying into this thing and doing what's necessary, even if it feels wrong, but doing it for this cause. And yeah, all those kind of moments for me is what makes this show great. The tension and everything else that you guys have said, so
Gio, you brought up something that we haven't even said. Mon Mothma in this show, like,
Great.
Jake and I talked about this a lot, was the fact that until this show, she's arguably one of the most important characters,
In the
but we
universe.
know the least about.
Yeah, we've barely seen her in a lot of stuff.
She shows up for like 2 minutes
Right.
in like a movie here and there, and you're
Isn't
like,
she considered the leader of the rebellion? Like,
pretty much,
yeah,
yeah.
we don't really know that much about her until now. Yeah.
And like, honestly, there were times where I was sitting there like, get back to her story. Like, I want to know
Yes.
what's going on with this. And I mean, I don't know about you guys, but like, I would love to see something like this follow her through episode 4, 5, and 6. Even if it's
I
just,
agree.
like, even if it's just like a mini series or something, just give me like little things 4, 5, and 6 with her. Oh my god!
Well, it can be like Lost Stars, how it goes through each movie through those characters' perspectives, but it could just be Mon Mothma's perspective through those 3 movies.
I mean,
Yeah.
she was phenomenal in this. I think, Jake, you felt the same way when we were talking about it.
Yeah.
Well,
No, yeah.
with her, that's a great point, Brian, because it's her trying to. We see even in Rogue One, like her when they're having that kind of that big, meeting about what to do when they finally found out what the Empire's the Death Star and all that stuff, and there's a bunch of senators and other rebellion leaders that didn't want to fight the Empire. They're just like, hey, there's nothing we can do. Like, they have a weapon like this. What can we do? And she's just kind of like, and there's other people on the other side that are like, no, we got to fight, and her trying to keep it together. You can see it was unraveling even up to that point, until it took what was his name? Shoot. I can't remember his name, to take the ship and go, all right, so here we fight. What's that guy's name? I can't remember his name.
Luther?
Not the Akbar guy. He's not Akbar, but he was the other one.
Oh, Admiral Radis.
Radis, yes, thank you.
Oh.
Yeah. It took him just going off on his own to get them to actually, fight. But so you're right. That would be very compelling to see, like her trying to hold what she can of the Rebel Alliance together, because you can see it was splintering even as far as then. But a quick question about her though. Do you guys think she actually knew if her husband was still gambling, or did she just kind of guess? She just threw that accusation out there hoping maybe he still was. Because I kind of had the sense that she was making a gamble herself there, hoping he was still gambling.
Well, either way,
I think
couldn't
she's
she
a lot.
bring it on him? Yeah.
I think she's a lot smarter than she leads to be.
Oh, of course, she said that
at this moment in time in the timeline. She's not seen as a very intelligent woman by larger groups of people in the Senate, in the community. It's clear. I mean, there's a reason why we only saw 2 scenes of her outside of her apartment. Everything else was inside her apartment.
Yeah.
She had that incredible line of, and I don't know the exact verbiage, but she was talking to her friend from back home about, I let them see what they need to see.
Yeah.
Or I let them see what they want to see. And, I think she's playing that the entire time. I think she made it. It's hard to say and it's a question that we can continue to talk about because it's obviously an arranged marriage, but and I'm sure they do.
Oh no, they hate each other.
I'm sure they do love each other to a certain extent, but
I don't think
there's
so.
also there's
Nah.
also there's clear division on where they stand, and when the tough starts to come, because we know, and it's something that Brian and I talked a lot about. We know how or where she ends up. We don't know how she got there, about how she's not on Coruscant anymore. She's basically in hiding. She's with the rebellion. So how does that come to be? You can see the seeds are kind of being planted here. You know, the separation of her daughter being now gifted to a, gangster's son, and the clear division between her and her husband. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Her storyline is very, very interesting. I think, Cassian, it's clear to me that Cassian is much more of a important role in the rebellion than we originally thought.
Yeah,
I kind of see him as one of a pillar. I don't know how many pillars there are, but I think he's a pillar. Like, to me, when 5 years down the road, like after watching this first season, I see Mon Mothma, I see Bail, I see Cassian, I see a couple of other players as pillars of the rebellion.
Luthen?
Well, yeah, but we also have to keep in mind we don't know where Luthen is once we see Rogue One. Like,
very true.
He's a pillar, but the rebellion hasn't been started officially yet, right? Like, it's not like a fully grown thing.
It's not an
so
alliance.
He could very well die before that actually happens. He's a pillar. Like, I think he's the pillar right now, but I unfortunately think that he's gonna bite the dust before he becomes like an official rebellion pillar.
Jake was trying to kill this guy off like every week. He was like, "Yeah, he's dying at the end. Yeah, he's gone."
I wasn't saying he was dying at each episode. I was saying he was going to die at the end of the season.
No. That's what I meant. That's what I meant. Yeah.
I definitely think that I think he probably dies. I think he probably dies within the first 2 arcs of next season. That's what I'm saying. And in case you guys didn't know, just a little backstory. There's 12 episodes. Every 3 episodes jumps a year.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys did not know.
For season 2?
Yeah.
Yes. They're spanning
So that
4
wasn't the
years
case for season 1, right?
No. So season 1 was just a certain amount of time. Season 2 is going to be spanning 4 years, and every 3 episodes, or it could be 2 and then 4, but there's 4 arcs, and each of them are a year. So I'm saying Luthen is going to die within the first 2 years.
And then Jake, correct me if I'm wrong. When it ends, it's 5 hours before Rogue One starts.
Right up to Rogue One.
Well, I think probably what's going to happen is we're going to see. When was the first time we met him? I think it's going to end with him flying to the Ring of Catherine. That's what I think.
Well, I think
because that's where we first meet him in Rogue One.
And I think that Gilroy said that's where it's going to.
I think that's going to be the final shot, maybe a post-credit scene. I don't know, but I think the final shot of the show is going to be him flying to the Ring of Catherine to meet Tivik. And that's where we meet him in Rogue One.
Because he's getting the information about the rebel pilot who's talked to Urso about the Death Star. And so it's going to end right there. I think, Gilroy did say that. I saw that too.
Yeah, because Rogue One starts with the flashback, right? To Krennic and
Jen,
yeah. And then after that, after Saw lifts her out of the thing, it cuts to where Cassian is, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. So we kind of hinted towards that. I know we don't have a lot of time here, but you guys kind of talked about some theories for season 2. I mean, that's hard to have theories for when it's going to be a 4-year span, because a lot of stuff can happen. A lot of stuff can happen. Does anyone have any?
Do you think we'll see Felicity Jones at all?
No.
At all?
No. There's no point. They didn't meet before Rogue One at all. And she was not part of Saw's partisans at this point. She was gone.
She had been, no. Yep. You know what?
She was doing her own thing. When we see her as an adult, when we see her as an adult in Rogue One, the first time we see her as an adult, she's in prison. I mean, maybe they shoot a really cool post-credit scene that shows her. I don't know, but I don't think there's a point in showing her at all.
Well, the reason I asked is because I agree for the most part, but the reason I asked is because I was pretty surprised we got an episode of The Mandalorian in the middle of Boba Fett. And not only that, but him getting back with Grogu, that all happened on Boba Fett, which is kind of odd.
I
So,
think Gilroy has like
I-
basically almost full control on this.
And I think the reason why we won't see Jin is something that we have not talked about, but he will 1000% be meeting K2 in season 2.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's the Rogue One character that we're going to see in season 2. And I think that, you know, I don't think it's going to be like a huge storyline, but obviously from Rogue One, the relationship between Cassian and K2 is a very important thing. How did they get there? How did that come to be? You know, do we meet him in the first year? Do we meet him in the third year? Like, I think that's going to be the big thing that we're going to take away. And I just think bringing Jin into it is too much. Now, I would say I would not be surprised if we saw Galen.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
I
that
would
makes
not be
sense.
surprised if we saw Galen and Krennic at some point in a small scene of Ben Mendelsohn and Mads Mikkelsen together, maybe recreating a scene from Catalyst, just like a nice little fan thing. I don't know if Gilroy will do it, but if there's a way to tell a story where, because like we're getting a lot of the ISB stuff, and ISB is just another branch as much as Krennic's branches as well. There's probably a way that you can filter them in somehow and have one scene or a couple where we see Krennic and Galen, and that is the stuff that we didn't get to see in Rogue One that they could do here, being that it is 4 years. Because by the end of season 2, Galen, actually, this would be a cool scene of Galen sending Bodhi Rook to do his business.
Okay, there you go.
That would be cool of
that's
seeing Riz Ahmed
That
come
would make
back.
sense.
That's it. Yep.
And like we see that angle of how Galen did that, of sending Bodhi and getting him out.
Yeah.
And going to Saw and all that information of Death Star plans. Because that post-credit scene of the Death Star wasn't just to show the Death Star. I think it's there for a reason, and maybe it has to connect to season 2 of like, maybe we will see Galen hand the Death Star plans off or whatever, or tell Bodhi Rook about this information, and we get to see that sequence.
Or see him make that message for Jin.
Those characters make a lot more sense because Jin hasn't even seen Saw since the end of Rebel Rising, you know, until Rogue One. So it wouldn't make sense to see her at all because you can't even show her working with Saw because he abandoned her basically.
I'm gonna have to read Catalyst before
K2SO.
You've never read Catalyst?
You haven't read Catalyst?
No.
Oh,
Me too,
it's so
Brian.
good. It's
Me
so
too.
good.
You guys have to.
It goes
it kind
perfectly
of goes
with
hand in
Rogue
hand with the show and Rogue One
and the movie. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. For K2SO, do you guys think? And we're kind of starting to see this. Are they just gonna pretend like that comic that showed that how they met doesn't exist?
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. So you think we're getting a whole new thing?
My theory.
I don't think it's going to be a whole new thing, but I do think that they're not. They've done it in previous content as far as television shows and movies that
They've contradicted.
They're not afraid to tell something different. They'll tell something similar, but they're not afraid to tell something different because ultimately, like, it's all canon, yes, but when it comes down to it, the live action stuff is the number one
Official
priority
canon.
That is the official. That overtakes everything.
Yeah.
That makes
and they
sense.
might pick a character or something or two from the.
And that comic also wasn't received very well. So
and it was like a one-off. It wasn't even a full run. It was just like 4 issues or something. Keith, you said you had a theory. I'm guessing it was that comment you brought up.
Gordon Post said, that the B2 is going to be K2. So that I felt that almost from the beginning.
Do you guys think that too?
I think
no.
I mean,
as much as I would love that, I don't know how that'd be possible. How would B2 get into K2SO, being that he's an ex-Imperial droid?
The only way would be kind of like
he's reprogrammed.
They do L3 and Solo.
L3, yes. Yeah. You take his US.
I mean, that's a lot though. Like,
you take his memory card and put him in that.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love to see it, but I also don't want to see B2 pulled from his body. You know, like I think B2 is doing his thing on Ferrix, or not. They're not even on Ferrix anymore. But I think that he's going to be living with Bix and Brasso and all of them.
Yeah, maybe he's got such an attachment to Cassian. I think that, and it just feels similar to his relationship with Cassian and K2. Or I'm sorry, yeah, K2 and Cassian. So, I don't know.
Well, I think that's a clear difference between our antagonists or protagonists, excuse me, when it comes to Andor and Mando. Mando was so against droids. Cassian is all for droids.
Yeah, right. That's
right. Like it's just a clear difference in the two of them. You know that he accepts them for who they are. So
it's nice to see people being nice to droids sometimes.
Yeah,
seriously.
like who's that other guy who brought or who was there in his house with B2?
Oh, his friend.
Brasso.
Yeah, I love that
Brasso.
guy. I'm glad he made it. I'm glad he made it through. I love him.
Keith, I think it's possible because look, they showed Cassian interact with one of those droids earlier in this season, right?
Yeah.
What if B2's like, hey, I can't help you unless I can like physically help you, and he's like, I have an idea, because he knows how physically imposing those droids are.
Sure.
So I don't know. I could see it. I wouldn't put money on it, but I could see it happening.
Yeah.
I have it's not really like a theory or anything, but it's a cool tie-in if true. So you guys know Nemec's manifesto, right? Like how Cassian is very much taken to this manifesto by
I know what
Nemec.
you're gonna say. Yeah.
It really is like what kind of pushed him into be the rebellion. Well, I found this online that they could have taken this, but so we saw a scene of Cassian being handed the manifesto, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the manifesto on his shoulder in Rogue One?
Absolutely.
Wow. What?
I saw that earlier too, Jake. That blew
Did
me
they
away,
take
too.
that little box and say, we're going to make an entire storyline out of
Holy
that
crap.
and turn that into Nemec's manifesto?
Absolutely. I see what I'm saying. That's why this show. I love attention to detail.
Look at that. That's crazy.
I wonder if it's in the visual dictionary.
Yeah, because what did they think it was before? Like, what did they?
Well,
say
it was just like
before?
it was like a decorative piece. It was something.
Yeah,
that was
it could have been
costume, right,
anything.
but they took that
They
and
made
they
a
said,
story
you know
on
what?
it.
We're going to create a character, and that is the sole reason why Cassian joins the rebellion. That and Marva, obviously. Marva's a big part of it. But like what Nemec was saying the entire time was what was resonating with Cassian. And then Marva was like the final nail in the coffin, like, go get them. Like, do this. Like, you need to fight them. Right. But Nemec was always just kind of like in the back of his mind.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Wild.
Damn, that's interesting. All right, I know we got to head out of here soon, but I think we kind of already answered this question. Is this one of the best Star Wars stories?
This is the best Star Wars show.
Probably.
Stories? Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One of the best. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you guys think it's the best? Well, look, we have 2 Mandalorian seasons, 1 Boba Fett season, 1 Obi-Wan season, and this, right?
This is my favorite live action Star Wars show they've done.
By far.
I think I might agree
by
too.
far. It's.
I'm still
secondary.
go with Mandalorian season 2, to be honest.
Okay.
But this is.
That's why I said
second,
live action, Andy.
for sure.
I didn't include animation.
Oh, good point. Good point.
I said live action.
Clone Wars season 3 for Jake.
Season 7 of Clone Wars was.
Season 7 of Clone Wars is wild.
it's great.
Season 2 of Rebels is
Great.
Rebels is just something.
Gio, what about you?
I mean, Andor's fucking great. I don't know. I need some time to sit with it. I think I still have
Gio finished it
Mandalorian.
an hour and a half ago, so
Yeah,
still
so
fresh.
it's still fresh. Yeah.
Hey, I've already watched it. I watched Jacob, you talked about episode 11 and 12. I've watched both of those 3 times.
Oh my goodness,
they're
Keith.
so good. I'm
Keith,
with
you rewatch stuff like no other.
I do.
Honestly, you do.
I
Jacob,
mean-
I'm gonna. Oh, Brian, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say my last thing. I mean, that ending of episode 11 might be one of the best scenes in all of Star Wars.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm saying top 5 at least.
Yeah.
You're talking about the prison break?
No, the ship leaving
Luthen
ship.
escaping the tractor
Luthen's
beam.
lightsaber ship. Yeah.
Yeah.
His Sith crystals. Yeah.
Totally.
thing
It's
was-
the Batmobile.
You got-
Gio, I told you.
No, I do not believe that. I'm buying into the BS of people online. He is
What?
not people think that he's a
that he's a Jedi.
People think that he is
Oh my
an
God.
ex-Sith apprentice because those are lightsaber crystals that are forming his ship. Like, it's so stupid and out there. Like,
He could have gotten those from anywhere. Like,
Yeah.
they're not
Everyone's
even.
a Jedi.
I don't even think they're lightsaber crystals. It's
I
just a
doubt it.
freaking
Yeah,
laser.
Yeah.
Like,
but Even if they are, he's been going around the galaxy getting stuff. He's a collector. He gets
Well, like
stuff, so.
blasters don't use kyber crystals, so like.
Yeah, I don't know.
Jacob, before we wrap up, I want to just do two things real quick. So
Mhm.
Gordon asks, are we going to be watching Willow? Yes, we will be watching Willow.
Absolutely.
We're not going to be doing an episode by episode, but we will have a season recap at the end.
When does that start? I need to watch that movie
Tomorrow.
It's
Or today. No,
Oh.
it started today or tomorrow. It's one or the other. Sorry. I think it's tomorrow. But so we'll be doing a season recap at the very end after all the episodes are together. We're going to try to do that for a lot more of television shows. We won't be doing each and every week, but television shows, we're going to try to get together and come like a season recap. And then speaking of Disney Plus, tomorrow, we're actually going to be reviewing the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. We're going to be doing a special episode of Marvel Rewind around the 6:30 time slot-ish. And we're going to spend about 45 minutes or so talking about the Guardians special tomorrow evening. So join us for that as well.
Quick question,
Absolutely.
really quick. When I could just look this up, but I'm gonna ask you guys because I know you know. Brian, I know you know this. When is Ahsoka? Is that in 23?
Yes.
Okay.
We're done with Star Wars for this year.
Okay.
Well, yeah, it's
Not
December.
much time left.
It is
Well,
actually
Mandalorian-
November, smart
It's
ass.
so Keith, it's more than likely going to be, so we have Bad Batch in January, and then probably Mandalorian and then
March.
Ahsoka. Yeah.
Wow, that's gonna be
Can't
a
wait.
hell of a year. Alrighty then. Well, that's gonna do it for this episode of Apocaflix Now. That was so much fun talking December movies and reviewing Andor in spoiler fashion. We're gonna go ahead and get out of here. I'll let the guys say where you can find them online. I'll start with you, Gio.
You guys can find me on Twitter at Insider Geo and my own channel, Fandom United. Stay tuned for my coverage of Empire Magazine's 2023 preview. I'm gonna subscribe later tonight and read that whole thing, and there should be some nice details about next year. Next year is gonna be a beast. So yeah.
Thank God. Needs to make
Awesome.
up for this year.
And Jake Berlin.
Twitter and Instagram and TikTok at Qui-Gon Jake. Two
And
N's because someone else took it before I did. And Hive. Yeah, find me on the Hive. The Whiskey Jedi, I'm going to get an episode out this week. It's been a little bit since I've done one, but I've been extremely busy.
Am I on it?
No, hopefully tomorrow, but if not, then probably Thursday. And then a certain point of view with Brian. And yeah, again, tomorrow, Marvel Rewind special for Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. Check that out. And then hopefully we have something special planned next week as well. Right, Jacob?
Yes, we do. Do we want to talk about it now?
No, it's
Talk
okay.
about it later. Okay, we'll talk
Yeah.
about it later. Brian, it's nothing exciting. It's just stuff for our show. Plans for the show next week.
Okay.
You'll hear about it.
You'll know when you need to know. Be of Alcino on Twitter, Instagram, and Hive.
Wait, is everyone on Hive now? Did I miss something?
I haven't looked at Hive in like 2 weeks.
Jake, I haven't looked at
Oh
it
my
since
God.
we did it on POT.
What? I just heard about the
It's
Discord
the
today,
new
and now
Twitter,
we're like,
guys. It's the
Hive
new
already.
Twitter. Keith, get on Discord while you're on the show.
Yeah,
Get on
I was
Discord.
gonna bring it up. Keith, we have a new Discord. Keith, where are you?
Yeah.
And then tomorrow, my Nightcrawler thing with Geo will come out.
Right.
Tomorrow morning.
Keith, I watched Nightcrawler.
That's right. Yes.
Mhm.
Oh, I can't wait to see what you think of this.
And then Jake got challenged to, oh crap,
My neighbor Totoro.
My Neighbor Totoro.
Oh, I don't even know what that is.
Oh, okay.
It's a
Well,
Studio Ghibli film.
Ooh, okay. Cool.
so yeah,
I like those.
stuff.
All right.
And Mr. Keith Barnes.
Check out Jake's TikTok, see what dance he's going to do. Brian, I know you. I mean, we'll get to it later. I know you. I did not feel good about the world after I watched Nightcrawler. I just anyway.
I didn't feel good. It was a good movie though.
Yes, very good.
What was
Yeah.
that, like 2014? When did that come out?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
2014.
think so.
The
Yeah.
biggest snub of the 2010s.
Mhm.
Might have been.
Dude,
Might have been.
2014 was a banger of a movie.
It was a big year.
Yeah,
I
it
remember.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Check out our decades episode. We talked about 2010. But yes, you can find me on Twitter at Keith Barnes 79. You can see me here on Apocaflix every Tuesday. Eventually on Now. You can see me every now and then with my buddy Gio. You can see me on Bartley and Barnes go watch our last episode. Got a new episode coming out real soon, probably the next few days or so, with my buddy Jacob Bartley. We're talking about all the stuff from December that happened in movies and TV and sports, and probably music too. Yeah, and that's it.
Awesome. And you can find me on Twitter at JacobBarley824. If you're still playing fantasy football, you can come hang out with me and my buddy Gabe on First Round Fantasy on YouTube. And also, like Keith mentioned, Bartley and Barnes, keep an eye out maybe in our Discord. We'll let you guys know when the next episode is going to be. It's coming up, though, real soon here. Thank you all for watching. Again, don't forget to tune in tomorrow, like we said, for our Guardians Christmas special review, and every Tuesday for this show, Apocaflix Now, at 7 p.m. See you guys next time.